It was the night of November 9, 1989, when the world witnessed one of the most iconic and transformative moments in modern history, the fall of the Berlin Wall. For nearly 3 decades, this concrete barrier had separated families, friends, and even entire communities, symbolizing the deep ideological divide of the Cold War. The Berlin Wall wasn't just a physical structure, it represented the sharping contrast between East and West, communism and democracy. On one side stood West Berlin, a beacon of freedom and prosperity. On the other, East Berlin, under Soviet control, isolated and struggling. In 1961, the wall was erected to prevent mass defections from East to West Germany. For years, it stood tall, stretching over 96 miles, lined with barbed wire, armed guards, and watchtowers, an insurmountable obstacle for those yearning for freedom. Yet, despite the constant threat of being shot, thousands of people risked their lives trying to escape. Some succeeded, but many perished in the attempt. As the Cold War progressed, tensions slowly began to ease, and by the late 1980s, cracks were starting to show in the Soviet bloc. Protests for freedom were spreading throughout Eastern Europe. In East Germany, the people had enough. Massive demonstrations demanding political reform, freedom of travel, and the end of the wall took place across the country. On that fateful evening in November 1989, the East German government made an unprecedented announcement. Travel restrictions were to be lifted, allowing people to cross the border. Confusion reigned, but the message was clear. The wall, the ultimate symbol of division, no longer held its power. Thousands of Berliners from both sides rushed to the wall. They climbed over it, embraced one another, and began chipping away at the very structure that had divided them for so long. It was a moment of pure joy, celebration, and hope for the future. The Berlin Wall, which had once seemed so impenetrable, was now being torn down by the very people it had tried to keep apart. The fall of the Berlin Wall signaled the end of an era. It paved the way for the reunification of Germany and marked the beginning of the end of the Cold War. But more than that, it became a symbol of hope, proof that even the deepest divides can be overcome, and that the human spirit cannot be contained by walls, no matter how high or how strong they are. In the years since, the remnants of the Berlin Wall have stood as a reminder of that historic moment, a reminder of the power of unity, of freedom, and of the will of the people to change the course of history. The fall of the Berlin Wall was not just a victory for Germany, but for the entire world.